Hello Year 11 and welcome to what will be the fourth and final video here for our second unit, Driving Safely. We're looking at accident statistics in exercise 1202 here. Yes, we've changed the order around, but really it doesn't matter too much. We're looking at accident statistics, particularly fatal accidents, that is where someone, one or more persons die. Just a couple of little bits of sort of trivia here, not that it's trivial, but twice as likely to have a fatal accident in the country compared to the city, and yet you are twice as likely to live in the city in New South Wales. Right? 2/3 of all people live in the city, and yet 2/3 of all fatal accidents occur in the country. Also, motorcycles are much more, about 20% of fatalities involve a motorcyclist, and yet motorcyclists are only about 1 in every 25 vehicles on the road. Yeah. So in the country, on a motorbike, be extra super careful. Anyhow, moving along, stats here, I'm sure you've dealt with them before, using all sorts of things like mean, median, mode, range, those sorts of things, graphs and tables, wordy problems sometimes as well, and you might need to you might need a written answer sometimes even too. You might need to interpret the statistics and give your opinion or analyse those in some way. So anyway, we have 10 scores here. The number of road fatalities in New South Wales from 2016 to 2015 inclusive. We need to find the mean number of fatalities. Now I'm going to do this using my calculator. Of course, we find the mean by adding all of the scores together and then dividing by the number of scores. Here we go. Oh, stop that. Okay, here we go. Sorry, trying to get my calculator going. I have been using my calculator for something else, and I want to reset it, right, to make sure that all of the information is out there. So I press second function, 9 equals AC. That didn't work. Second function, 3 equals AC. Second function, 9, 3 equals AC. There we go. Calculator is reset, and I want to put it in statistics mode. This is probably the worst part of this calculator, is the sort of mucking around a little bit with menus to get to stat mode. Everything else, I find this to be a superior model. It's a lot like some of the other calculators, right? Some of the menus are very similar. Getting in stat mode is a little bit painful, but once you're there, I think it's worthwhile. So to put it in stat mode, you press mode. And 2 for stats. What a surprise. We need that first option there, 1 VAR. Occasionally we will use one of the other options there. We'll talk about that when we get there. For the time being, I'm only finding the mean of one type of data, that is the fatalities. So I just need that 1 VAR. Now you see I've got a bit of a table here and I can put these scores in. That's good. 496 equals moves me on to the next one. 435 equals 374 equals, whoops, I've made a mistake. I know what you're thinking. You didn't make a mistake, you did it on purpose. Maybe I did. Anyway, I can just go up over here and go 374 equals and correct my error. Right, I can see it there on the screen in front of me and I can make the correction as I go along. I think that's a big advantage. 453, particularly when you're dealing with relatively large data sets. 405. It is so easy to make one little mistake and you don't want to have to start again. 364 if you can avoid it. 369 equals, alright, we're going to move this calculator again. 333 equals, 307 equals, and 350. There we are. I've got 10 scores in here, right? You can see up to the 10. There's space there for the 11th, but I'm not going to use it. I can use my arrows to have a quick scan through those, and they look pretty good to me. And I press AC. They have not disappeared. The 0 there reminds me I'm in stat mode, and they've been recorded to our memory. Now there are 10 scores there in the memory, and I can perform all sorts of calculations, but I need to find the mean of them. So to get to my stats, see where it says stat here in yellow, I've got to press the yellow button, and then there to stats. Option 4, VAR, I think it stands for variance. Now the end tells me how many scores I've got saved in there in my memory. I'm not interested in that right now. It should be 10. No, option 3 and 4 both calculate the standard deviation in a slightly different way, but option 2 here, X with a line above it or a bar above it, calculates the mean. So if I press option 2 and then equals 388.6 sounds like a sensible answer. So my mean equals 388.6. Now the range is the difference between the highest and the lowest score. My highest score, I'm pretty sure, is here, 496. My lowest is probably here, 307. I think that's right. But watch this. You ready? Go on, calculator. Back to the calculator. Second function, 1, minimum, maximum, right? 5. So I can go 1, gives me my minimum score, 307. And I'm going to go minus, actually, no, I shouldn't do that. Second function, 1, second function, 1, 5, and in fact I want the maximum, 2, minus the minimum, right, so it's going to give you the maximum minus the minimum is 189. Rightio. Now, range was 189. Okay, that's very good, and you can see the calculator coming into its own there. The median. Okay, you know how to calculate the median. Put all the scores in order from smallest to largest. Separate them into 2 groups with an equal number of scores in each group, and then either find the middle one or what's between the middle 2, halfway between the middle 2. That is sometimes a painfully slow process. But if you've already put the data here into your calculator, second function 1, minimum, maximum, perhaps you saw there, we have median. My median is 371.5. Common sense tells me that looks pretty good. 371.5. Wonderful. Now, what have I got going on here? The next part here asks for the interquartile range. Now, to find the interquartile range, you've got to find Q1 and Q3 in a similar way to finding the median. Essentially, you find the median at the bottom half and the median at the top half. Right? They're those quartiles. Again, painfully slow, but once you have this information into the calculator, you can do this. Now, this is an approved calculator, and I can only expect that it's quite acceptable to use it to answer these sorts of questions. So Q3 minus Q1, right? Q3 minus Q1 equals 85. Rightio. So, use the technology. Make your life simpler. It's important, of course, that you know how to calculate those sorts of things without a calculator. We know it's a fairly slow process that's fairly open also, right? It's reasonably open to making a silly error, right? A transcription error or something like that. We've got a calculator there. Make use of it. Okay, that is accident statistics, and that is driving safely. I hope the videos have been instructive and informative. If you've got any questions doing these, I will, of course, see you in class.